Hey, coming up next, Jack Welch.
Oh, great.
Also, Maria Shriver with us, remembering Tim. But right now, let's bring in former Republican presidential candidate, Texas Representative Ron Paul, who's also the author of The Revolution, a manifesto. And Ron, good to see you again. The revolution continues. You had to suspend your campaign last week. Was that a tough thing to do?
Well, it wasn't so tough for me, but it was tough for some of the supporters who really are engaged and never want to give up. So we had to have a new project so we don't give up. So the fight goes on. Some people saw this campaign as being 1 year long, and the way I look at it, I've been doing this for about 30 years. It's just that nobody paid any attention until about a year ago. So I feel like I'm doing the same thing. I'm always campaigning for liberty.
Would a John McCain victory be troublesome to you?
No, it's in many ways irrelevant, you know, because I don't see the difference from where we stand today, you know, whether it's Obama or McCain. From our viewpoint, there's not a whole lot of difference. They're not talking about change, you know. They're not talking about changing our foreign policy or talking about the Federal Reserve or getting rid of the income tax or balancing the budget. I mean, they're not anywhere close to that. So to us, it's irrelevant.
We've been talking a lot this morning about this battle that just started yesterday between McCain and Obama over prisoners' rights at Gitmo. John McCain calling his campaign anyway, calling Barack Obama naive. Says he has a September 10th mentality. What do you make about the way these two sides come down, and who's closer to you?
Okay. Well, I think if you call that court ruling naive, you'd have to call the founding fathers naive, you know, because this whole idea of being careless about how we hold prisoners, and you know, some people argue, well, we did it in World War II, but that was atrocious what we did in World War II. Now think of all the Japanese that we rounded up. They had no right of habeas corpus, and fortunately we knew we were in a war that was going to end, and we reversed it. But now this war is perpetual, and we don't even know who the enemy is, and it's not a declared war. So different. And now the bad part of this is the determination who may be an enemy combatant is determined by the President and Attorney General. That opens up the floodgate. Very, very dangerous.
So what do you do with these people? What do you do with the enemy?
Put them in the court system.
In the American court system?
Why? Well, the first thing is the foreign policy that creates all these problems of going around the world and arresting people. I mean, that's where most of our problems are, is we're looking for trouble. I mean, why are we going into these foreign countries arresting people? And well, you know,
wouldn't the Bush administration say we're trying to prevent another 9/11?
Yeah, but I don't think they're doing a very good job. I think things
we haven't had another 9/11.
But I think things are actually much worse than they've ever been, because there's more hostility toward us, more enemies than ever before. So I see no improvement whatsoever as far as our danger. Think of what we tried to do before 9/11. Why don't we talk about that sometime? We were spending $40 billion a year trying to prevent a 9/11, and we ignored all the evidence. The evidence is buried in there. So it isn't that we need more information, more rounding up. We need a sensible foreign policy. So if we address it this way, this means we don't understand exactly why the hostility is directed toward us. They think it's being directed toward us because we're free and prosperous, and that has nothing to do with why there's a band of criminal, crazy people who want to kill us. It isn't a country. They don't have an army. They don't have any military. They're very, very weak, desperate people. And if we don't understand that and we declare war against the world, all we're going to do is create a greater threat. Al-Qaeda is bigger than ever before. Osama Bin Laden loves what we have done. We have done exactly what we wanted. We invaded 2 Arab countries, and we have incited the world, the Arab world, so there's more hatred toward us now than ever before.
Well, and regardless as to what you think about how we got into this position, when it comes to the detainees in Guantanamo, what do we do with them now that we have them? And I think putting them in the American court system has a number of complexities that are quite problematic.
The one thing you don't do is that you assume they're terrorists. The American people are conditioned by the media that, oh, this is no problem because this is the way we treat terrorists. They're all suspects. And if you don't have reason to hold them in American prison, they shouldn't be there. If there is a legitimate reason, try them or do something. But why do we have secret prisons around the world? Do you think Guantanamo is the only one? I mean, we have prisoners all over the world. And I think it's a terrible way for a free country and a republic to act. I think we're violating all the principles that the founding fathers tried to put into our Constitution, and we're just too careless with personal liberty.
Willie, you may be taking a trip this summer to Minnesota, right? To take part in a revolution?
Well, if that's where the revolutionaries will find themselves, I may be there. Tell us about what you're planning the week of the Republican convention.
Well, we're going to have a rally not too far from the convention, and it's a rally for liberty. And people who are interested can join the campaignforliberty.com, because we have a new organization that's growing. But we're going to have a lot of people, and I'm not making any rash predictions. All I know is that our staff went from 5,000 man arena to 15,000. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
Well, if the number of emails we received on this show every time you appear on is any indication, you will sell out that arena. It's amazing.
We may get some big singers to add to the fuel.
All right.
Well, good. They're not going to let me sing, though.
Oh, very good.
That's good.
Well, big singers will be there. The Revolution will be there, and Willie Geist will be there. Probably with Tucker Carlson. Take some pepper spray just in case he gets too excited.
But you're all invited.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, join the revolution. All right, Ron Paul.
We insist we have fun, and we're not going to try to disrupt the convention. We have nothing to do about parading and demonstrating. That's, to me, not the way to go. It's all going to be philosophic.
Well, then Pat Buchanan will be very disappointed. He's disrupted more conventions than anybody else. Thank you so much.
Maybe if we ask Pat, he might want more disruption.
Exactly.
You want to use the pitchforks. Huh?
That's right. He'll bring the pitchforks.
People.
Ron Paul, thank you so much for being with us. The revolution continues, and coming up next, we've got former CEO of General Electric, a man who's been called the greatest CEO of the last quarter century, Jack Welch. Also with us, someone who's going to be speaking today at Tim's funeral, Maria Shriver, a dear, close personal friend of Tim's, when we return.
If this were a dictatorship, it'd be a heck of a lot easier. Just so long as I'm the dictator.